Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us today because we are unpacking a really fascinating and, frankly, a completely vital topic. If you're building, designing, or even just looking into off-grid solar systems, you've probably stumbled across a ton of warnings about cable safety. But today, we're going to look way past that surface-level advice. We're going to uncover the invisible enemy lurking inside those wires. We'll explore exactly why cheap solar cables burn under pressure, and trust me, the physics behind this whole thing is incredibly eye-opening. So let me just pose this directly to you. What actually makes a solar cable burn, right? Because when we see a melted wire or a blackened, charred connector, our first instinct is usually to think, oh, it must have been a power surge, or wow, just bad luck, or maybe a simple system overload. But as the source material we're digging into today reveals, catastrophic failure in a solar system is rarely just some instant, out-of-the-blue event. The real culprit is something completely hidden from view. It's silently building up over hours and hours of continuous operation. Listen to this quote from the engineering breakdown we're analyzing. It is resistance, multiplying itself inside the wire. I really want that to sink in for a second. We normally think of electrical resistance as just a static number, right? Just a boring specification printed on a datasheet. But in high-stress, continuous DC systems, resistance is this active, compounding threat. It literally multiplies itself under the wrong conditions. All right, so here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the hidden solar hazard. Second, the math behind the melt. Third, the thermal feedback loop. Fourth, copper versus aluminum cores. And finally, number 5, preventing electrical failure. Okay, let's jump right into section 1, the hidden solar hazard, beyond the surface. Okay, let's dive into this. If you spend any time at all on off-grid energy forums, or if you watch DIY solar installation tutorials, you constantly hear these simplified rules. Things like, thin cables cause heat, or always buy pure copper. And hey, while that's generally true, those surface-level warnings completely miss the real mark. People will show you these dramatic close-ups of melted insulation, but they totally fail to explain the missing links here. I'm talking about the bulk resistivity differences between core materials, and even more importantly, resistance creep under heat cycling. They're basically just treating the symptom, but they don't explain how resistance behaves totally differently when it's placed under continuous, non-stop DC load stress from a solar array. Moving on to section 2, the math behind the melt, voltage drop to heat. To really grasp what's happening in those wires, we have to look at the underlying physics. In any solar setup, current flows through conductors that, well, they're never 100% perfect. There is always going to be some voltage drop, guided by Ohm's law. But this definition right here, power loss equals current squared times resistance, this is the absolute critical failure driver. Why does this matter so much? Because we have to completely stop looking at resistance as just a wiring spec. Resistance is actually a heat generation system. And because current is squared in this formula, even a tiny, seemingly insignificant amount of resistance becomes highly dangerous when you start pushing heavy amps through it. So the crucial takeaway here, the real aha moment, is that when your solar array's current doubles, the heat inside your cable doesn't just double. No way. It quadruples. It goes up by a massive factor of 4. This exponential math is exactly why undersized or cheap cables fail so dramatically. When the sun is blasting at its peak and your charge controllers are just shoving maximum current into your batteries, that exponentially growing heat has absolutely nowhere to go. Which brings us to section 3, the thermal feedback loop, a ticking clock. When all that heat gets trapped, we enter the danger zone. It's this slow, inevitable thermal spiral. Let's walk through it. Step 1, the initial resistance causes heat. Simple enough, right? But then, step 2, as the conductor gets hotter, its physical resistance actually increases even further. It's a total vicious cycle. Step 3, this rising resistance creates a current imbalance among the tiny strands inside the wire. Step 4, the heat just keeps accumulating until the plastic insulation physically begins to soften and deform. And finally, step 5, the arc risk massively increases, especially at any weak joints. So you see, the wire doesn't just spontaneously melt in an instant, it degrades slowly, agonizingly, through this relentless feedback loop. Next up, section 4, copper versus aluminum cores, material choice. Now, what's really interesting about this is how your material choice dramatically accelerates this whole danger. Let's compare pure copper to copper-clad aluminum. You'll usually see it sold as CCA. Now, CCA is heavily marketed everywhere as this great, budget-friendly alternative. But just look at the data. Pure copper maintains incredibly stable conductivity under continuous load, which keeps those resistive losses low and the heat minimal. But with CCA, The aluminum core completely dominates the conduction behavior under heavy stress. Because aluminum inherently has a higher bulk resistivity, it generates significantly more resistive loss. That literally turns your precious electrical power into pure heat. And worse, that heat loves to concentrate right at your weak points, like the bends, the crimps, and the connectors. And guys, this is not just textbook theory. If you are running a 24-volt or a 48-volt system, you are pushing continuous heavy amperage, a long cable run going all the way from your rooftop solar array down to your battery bank. That creates a massive runway for voltage drop and thermal stress. Sure, a cheap CCA cable might handle a quick 2-second surge just fine, but it's the continuous, hours-long MPPT charging load of a bright sunny day that brutally exposes these resistance weaknesses and triggers that runaway thermal spiral we just talked about. All right, our final section, number 5, preventing electrical failure, actionable safety. So now that we understand the underlying physics, we can actually empower ourselves to make the right engineering choices. As we've seen, these cables do not fail instantly. They leave clues. They kind of whisper before they scream. Here is your vital early warning checklist. First, if your cable insulation actually feels warm to the touch, you are already losing power to heat. Also, keep a close eye out for a slight voltage drop across your long runs, or even weird, intermittent, glitchy behavior from your MPPT charge controller. And please, pay special attention to your connectors. Overheating almost always starts at the weak joints, at the lugs, and at the crimps, way before the middle of the actual wire ever melts. So how do we solve this once and for all? You absolutely must use pure copper conductors for those high-stress inverter and battery runs. It's non-negotiable. You have to size your cables not just for the quick peak current, but for the real continuous current, the total distance of the run, and even the ambient temperature of the room. And finally, ensure every single termination is correctly crimped and tightened down to the exact proper torque specs. In a low-voltage power system, pure copper isn't merely some luxury upgrade. It is your foundational safety system designed specifically to prevent thermal runaway. I want to leave you with this final, lingering thought from our source material today. When we cut corners on wiring, when we swap out proper copper for lower-grade alternatives and just ignore the math of continuous current, well, that energy doesn't just magically disappear. The heat always finds a way out. It's a really stark reminder for all of us to double-check our connections, verify our cable types, and truly respect the incredible physical forces moving through our off-grid systems. So take a close look at your own wiring setup today. Are you entirely confident in its structural integrity? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer today. Keep learning and stay safe out there.